Total silence. Years of it. Heartbeat thundering in the void. Hooded every move, blind, isolated. No voices, no contact. Speak, forbidden. Only a tiny skylight stares down. The eye of God. Cold, unblinking. It breaks you, shatters thoughts, crushes sanity, erases your soul. No whips, no chains. Pure hell. Born in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In this massive stone fortress, people were locked in complete silence for years. No human voices, no footsteps, only the endless echo of their own thoughts. Built in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary became the world's first true penitentiary, a revolutionary system meant to force criminals to repent through total isolation. Prisoners were hooded whenever they left their cells. Each tiny cell had just one small skylight, nicknamed the Eye of God, staring down on them. Talking was strictly forbidden. Guards communicated only with taps on the pipes. Thousands entered these walls hoping for redemption, but most left broken. Men scratched messages into stone until their nails bled. Some screamed until their throats gave out. Suicide rates soared. Even infamous gangster Al Capone, transferred here in 1929, spent 8 months in relative luxury, yet later admitted something unseen tormented him every night in his cell. The prison closed in 1971, but the silence never truly ended. Today, during tours, visitors hear heavy footsteps racing down empty corridors. Cell doors slam shut with no one nearby. In the underground punishment pits, called the Hole, people suddenly feel freezing hands grip their ankles in total darkness. Paranormal investigators have captured desperate whispers pleading, "Help me," and bursts of manic laughter from men dead for decades. One former guard in the 1940s fled his post after watching shadowy figures surge toward him from the shadows. He never returned. Thousands still visit every year. Some leave in tears. Others swear something followed them home. Louisville, Kentucky. In this sprawling Gothic building on a lonely hill, thousands were locked away to slowly suffocate, while the world outside forgot them. Opened in 1926, Waverly Hills Sanatorium became one of America's largest tuberculosis hospitals during the deadliest outbreak in history. At its peak, over 400 patients died every year. Official records claim around 8,000 deaths, but staff whispers put the real number closer to 63,000. Bodies removed so quietly that no one kept accurate count. There was no cure. Doctors tried brutal experiments, collapsing lungs, removing ribs, exposing patients to freezing air. Most simply waited to die. To hide the endless stream of corpses from the living patients, workers built the 500-foot body chute, a secret concrete tunnel leading down the hill. Bodies wrapped in sheets were slid down on rails at night, loaded onto trucks, and taken away in silence. The building closed in 1961, but the dying never stopped. Today, visitors hear children laughing and crying in empty playrooms that never existed for TB kids. Footsteps run down deserted hallways. On the 5th floor in room 502, people see the shadow of a nurse in old-fashioned uniform hanging from the same light fixture where she took her own life in 1932 after discovering she had the disease. Paranormal teams have recorded small voices begging, "Play with me," and guttural coughs echoing through the death tunnel. One investigator in 2009 was scratched so deeply on his back that blood soaked through his shirt. Photos show 3 long claw marks no human hand could make. Thousands tour Waverly Hills every year. Many leave running. Some refuse to ever speak about what they felt in that tunnel. San Francisco Bay, California. On this cold, windswept island known as the Rock, the most dangerous criminals in America were locked away in cells designed to break their spirit forever. Opened as a federal prison in 1934, Alcatraz housed men like Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the Birdman, inmates too violent or escape-prone for any other facility. The freezing water, strong currents, and shark-infested bay made escape seem impossible. Only 36 men ever tried. None succeeded. 5 vanished into the bay and were never found. Life inside was brutal. Prisoners spent up to 23 hours a day in tiny 5 by 9 foot cells. Silence was enforced. Talking could mean solitary in the dark D block, where the worst were kept. In 1946, the Battle of Alcatraz erupted. Inmates seized weapons, took guards hostage, and fought Marines for 2 days. When it ended, 3 inmates and 2 guards lay dead in the blood-soaked corridors of D Block. The prison closed in 1963, but the island never quieted. Today, during night tours, visitors hear the unmistakable sound of a harmonica drifting from Al Capone's old cell 181, the same instrument he played to cope with isolation. Cell doors slam shut on their own. Heavy footsteps echo in empty utility corridors. In D Block, people feel sudden icy blasts and hear gunshots or desperate screams from 1946. Rangers have reported shadowy figures standing in cells that were checked and found empty moments before. One guide in 1976 locked up alone at night, only to hear banjo music coming from Capone's cell, though no one had entered. Millions visit Alcatraz every year. Most leave fascinated. Some leave terrified, convinced something from the rock followed them across the water. Weston, West Virginia. In this massive Gothic stone building, the largest hand-cut stone masonry structure in North America, patients were locked away to be cured of madness, but most were simply forgotten. Opened in 1864 as the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, it was designed to house just 250 people in peaceful, sunlight-filled wards. Instead, by the 1950s, over 2,400 patients were crammed inside, 10 times the intended capacity. Overcrowding turned treatment into torment. Doctors performed hundreds of ice-pick lobotomies in assembly line fashion. Violent patients were chained to walls. Many died from disease, neglect, or experimental procedures. Children with conditions like epilepsy or autism were committed here for life, separated from families and left to waste away. One little girl named Lily, admitted young and never discharged, is said to have died alone in the children's ward, still waiting for parents who never returned. The asylum closed in 1994, but the suffering lingers. Today, during guided tours, visitors hear children laughing and singing nursery rhymes in empty playrooms. Balls roll across floors with no one to push them. In the violent ward, Ward 4, blood-curdling screams echo through the night, followed by the rattle of chains that haven't existed for decades. Most famously, people encounter Lily, a small girl in a white dress who peeks around corners, tugs on sleeves and whispers, "Play with me," before vanishing. Paranormal investigators have captured her tiny voice on recorders, asking, "Where's Mommy?" One group in 2012 watched a child-sized shadow skip down a hallway, then felt an icy hand slip into theirs. Thousands visit every year for historical and ghost tours. Many leave shaken. Some swear Lily followed them all the way home. Mansfield, Ohio. In this towering Gothic castle of stone and steel, young offenders were locked away to be reformed, but many were broken forever. Opened in 1896 as the Ohio State Reformatory, it was meant for first-time teenage and young adult criminals. Instead, it became a place of unimaginable cruelty. Guards beat boys with straps and hoses. Solitary confinement lasted months in pitch-black cells. Overcrowding led to disease, riots, and murder. At least 215 inmates died inside, some killed by fellow prisoners, others by their own hands. One of the darkest stories is that of Helen Glotke, wife of Warden Arthur Glotke. In 1950, she reached for his gun in their apartment inside the prison and it discharged, killing her instantly. Arthur died of a heart attack 9 years later. Ever since, visitors smell the overpowering scent of roses, Helen's favorite perfume, drifting through the administration wing where they lived. The prison closed in 1990 and gained fame as the filming location for The Shawshank Redemption, but the real horror never left. Today, during tours, people hear screams coming from the solitary confinement wing. Doors slam violently on their own. In the chapel, shadowy figures sit in the pews before vanishing. The strongest presence is Helen. Her rose perfume suddenly fills a room. Footsteps echo in her old apartment, and some women feel a gentle touch on the shoulder. Paranormal teams have captured a female voice whispering Arthur on EVP recordings. One visitor in 2015 took a photo in the warden's bathroom. A clear image of a woman in 1950s clothing appeared in the mirror behind him. Millions know it from the movie. Thousands visit every year. Many leave convinced the real ghosts of Mansfield are far scarier than any film. Spring City, Pennsylvania. In this sprawling complex of grim brick buildings, thousands of intellectually disabled children and adults were locked away from society and subjected to horrors that scarred a nation. Opened in 1908 as the Eastern Pennsylvania State Institution for the Feeble-Minded and Epileptic, Pennhurst was meant to care for and educate the mentally disabled. Instead, it became a warehouse of neglect and abuse. By the 1960s, over 3,500 residents were crammed into spaces built for half that number. Staff shortages led to unimaginable cruelty. Patients were strapped to beds for days, beaten, sexually assaulted, and left in filth. Teeth were knocked out during restraint. Many died from malnutrition, infection, or outright violence. A shocking 1968 television expose called it "The Shame of Pennsylvania," finally forcing change. The asylum closed in 1987 after decades of lawsuits. But the pain never truly left. Today, during ghost tours, visitors hear manic laughter echoing down empty hallways. Wheelchairs, long removed, creak and roll across floors on their own. Shadows dart between buildings. The most chilling evidence comes from EVP recordings. Angry voices snarl, "Get out," or scream, "Help me," in rooms where patients once begged in vain. Paranormal teams have captured children crying and the unmistakable sound of restraints clanking. One investigator in 2010 felt invisible hands shove him hard in the chest while a voice growled, "Leave," directly into his recorder. Others report being scratched or having their hair pulled by unseen forces. Thousands now visit the preserved campus every year for historical and paranormal tours. Many leave in tears. Some refuse to ever return, convinced the tormented souls of Pennhurst still cry, "Get out," to anyone who dares enter. Estes Park, Colorado. In this grand, white colonial-style hotel perched high in the Rocky Mountains, guests were promised luxury and peace, but many found sleepless nights filled with unseen visitors. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, inventor of the Stanley steamer car, the elegant hotel quickly became a playground for the wealthy. Yet from the earliest days, strange things happened. Lights flickered with no cause, footsteps echoed in empty halls, and piano music drifted through the ballroom long after everyone had gone to bed. The hotel's darkest chapter came in 1974 when author Stephen King stayed in room 217 with his wife. That stormy night, King had a terrifying nightmare about his young son being chased through the halls by a fire hose. He woke up, lit a cigarette, and by the time it burned down, the outline of The Shining was born. The Stanley became the real-life inspiration for the Overlook Hotel. The building still stands, and the activity has only grown stronger. Today, guests and staff report a grand piano in the empty ballroom playing beautiful melodies on its own, often recognizable tunes from the early 1900s. On the fourth floor, once the children's wing and staff quarters, laughter and rapid footsteps of running kids echo through the corridors at night, even when no children are checked in. Room 217 remains the most requested and most haunted. People wake to find their belongings neatly unpacked, blankets tucked in by invisible hands, or the faint figure of a woman in Victorian dress standing at the foot of the bed. Paranormal teams have captured children giggling on recorders and a stern female voice ordering, "Get out." Millions know it from the book and movie. Thousands visit every year. Many leave convinced the Stanley's ghosts are far more active than any fiction. Villisca, Iowa. In this quiet, unassuming white farmhouse on a small-town street, 8 people were locked in eternal silence, murdered as they slept. On the night of June 10, 1912, someone entered the Moore family home after the family and 2 young guests had returned from church. Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, and 2 visiting girls, Ina and Lena Stillinger, were all bludgeoned to death with an axe while they lay in bed. The killer covered mirrors, locked doors from inside, and left the weapon behind. Despite suspects, including a traveling preacher and a possible hitman, the crime remains officially unsolved. The house was restored to its 1912 appearance and opened for tours, but visitors quickly realized the family never truly left. Today, overnight guests and investigators report children's laughter echoing from empty upstairs bedrooms. Small footsteps run across wooden floors at 3 a.m., the approximate time of the murders. Toys placed in the children's rooms are found moved or stacked in strange patterns. Most disturbing is the constant feeling of being watched. Shadows shift in corners, cold spots form suddenly, and people feel eyes on their backs even in broad daylight. Paranormal teams have captured clear EVP of children whispering, "No, Daddy," and a deep male voice growling, "Leave." One group in 2014 woke to find their bedroom door locked from the inside with no key present and heard heavy footsteps pacing overhead all night. Thousands visit the Villisca Axe Murder House every year. Many leave after just minutes. Some refuse to ever sleep again in a house where the killer might still be watching. San Jose, California. In this sprawling, labyrinthine Victorian mansion, construction never stopped for 38 years as a widow tried to outrun the spirits hunting her. After her husband, William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, died in 1881, Sarah Winchester was told by a medium that the ghosts of everyone killed by Winchester rifles would haunt her unless she kept building. So she bought a simple farmhouse in 1884 and began endless expansion. Rooms added randomly, staircases leading to ceilings, doors opening onto blank walls, all to trap and confuse vengeful spirits. Workers hammered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until Sarah's death in 1922. The result is a 7-story maze of 160 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 windows, and architectural oddities designed as ghost traps. Switchback stairs that go nowhere, chimneys that stop short of the roof, and secret passages only Sarah knew. The house stands today as a tourist attraction, but the building never truly stopped. Visitors and staff regularly hear the unmistakable sound of hammers and saws echoing through empty corridors at night, the phantom crew still working on Sarah's orders. Footsteps pace on floors that no longer exist after the 1906 earthquake collapsed upper stories. In the ballroom, piano keys play faint melodies on their own. Tour guides report seeing a shadowy figure in Victorian dress, believed to be Sarah herself, or a wheelbarrow-pushing workman named Clyde who vanishes around corners. Paranormal investigators have captured tool sounds on recorders and a soft female voice whispering, "Keep building." Millions have toured the Winchester Mystery House. Many leave disoriented by its madness. Some swear they still hear faint hammering long after they've gone home. Wilder, Kentucky. In this unassuming country music bar along the Licking River, patrons come for cold beer and line dancing, but many leave convinced they've brushed against pure evil. The building dates back to the 1850s when it was a slaughterhouse. Animal blood soaked the floors and waste drained into a well in the basement that locals later called the Blood Well. After the slaughterhouse closed, the site became a hotspot for mob activity and tragedy. In the 1890s, a young woman named Pearl Bryan was murdered nearby, her headless body dumped just miles away after a botched abortion by her lover Scott Jackson and his roommate Alonzo Walling, both rumored Satanists. Legend claims they performed rituals in the basement and attempted to use Pearl's severed head in a ceremony. Jackson and Walling were hanged in 1897, the last public execution in the county, and purportedly cursed the site with their dying breaths. Another spirit is Johanna, a dancer poisoned by her father in the 1940s after falling for a singer. She committed suicide in the building. Today, the basement well is known as a portal to hell. Visitors report sudden rage, possession-like episodes, and physical attacks, scratches, bites, even people speaking in demonic voices. The most famous ghost is Pearl, a woman in old-fashioned clothing seen in mirrors, singing softly or dancing alone on the floor. Staff hear her heels clicking at closing time. Paranormal teams have captured a female voice screaming, "Help me!" and a male voice growling, "Murder!" Country singer and owner Bobby Mackey himself claims to have been attacked by an unseen force that left 3 deep scratches down his back. Thousands visit for the music and ghost tours every year. Many leave laughing. Some leave scratched, shaken, and swearing they'll never return to the bar with a gateway to hell in its basement. Lily's story is one of many lost voices from this historic asylum, and the building still holds countless untold tales. Did this history move you? Share your thoughts or research below. Your input could inspire the next episode. Thanks for watching. If you're curious about forgotten places like this, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. History has more stories waiting to be uncovered.